This stage feels like a total mess, but I'm staying with it. Today you'll see what trusting the painting process really looks like. Hi there, I'm Janine. I'm an artist and I share my creative journey on this channel. I'm working on two pieces today that are right in the thick of the messy middle, the stage where nothing feels resolved and you start second guessing and questioning whether you even know what you're doing. But instead of trying to control the outcome, I'm choosing to stay in the process. I'm making intuitive moves, exploring colour, and gently start to think about composition without overthinking it. If you ever find yourself doubting your abilities halfway through a painting, I hope this will remind you that it's completely normal and that the messy middle is only a stage. Let's see where it goes today. These two canvases behind me have already had many layers and I abandoned them for quite a long time, and then I've decided I want to make them part of my series. So you might have seen me in the last session where I added a lot of colours that I am using in my current series. So they'll sit with that nicely. I'm not too unhappy with that one. I'm quite liking what's going on here. This one here, on the other hand, is not working yet, or definitely not where I want it to be. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a lot of light. So I'm picking some of the light areas, like here maybe and there, and making them even lighter so I can get a little bit more contrast and a little bit more definition. So to do that, I'm going to mix some of the colour that I've got these pre-mixed paints in colours. I made a colour palette at the beginning. There's another video for that. And I'm going to make those lighter. I'm going to mix in zinc white. And the reason why I'm using zinc white instead of titanium white, which is what I mainly use, is because titanium white is opaque and zinc white is actually transparent. So I want to add transparent layers. I don't want to paint over everything. I want to keep most of what's there. I just want to make it lighter. So that's why the zinc white's quite good. I might tint it with some of the colours that I'm already using. So I'm just going to put some of that on my palette here. So I quite like the blue. So I think I'm going to mix a touch of my light blue with that zinc white. And I'm also going to use some glazing liquid, which again will make it more transparent. And there is a good chance that this will look quite chalky because of the white. But what I can do then after, once it's dry, I can go over with another thin glaze of a slightly more saturated colour. Actually, I think I'm going to use this brush with softer bristles. My trusty makeup brush. It doesn't leave as many brush marks. And it will look lighter now than it will once it's dry. And it will definitely look really strange now, but trust the process. Just added a little bit more blue as well. And I'm probably going to add another layer in a bit. But in the meantime, on this one here, I'm actually going to do the opposite and add a little bit of darkness. So I think this is already kind of leaning towards dark, so I want to make that a touch darker and also maybe a bit more neutral. So I've got this reddish pre-mixed colour. Again, I'm going to add some glazing fluid too. And I've got another soft brush. Actually, I'm going to use this slightly smaller one. And this will also neutralise some of the colour. And because I'm going over quite a few different colours, like the red, the blue, the yellow, with one colour, it will kind of unify those a little bit more. If you like this video, consider subscribing. And I think I also want to do the same down here with a bit more glazing liquid. And this colour is already drying up a bit, so I'm spraying it with some. I think because the it's a little bit broken around the edge, so it doesn't seal very well anymore. I think that's why a little bit of air gets in, so it dries out quicker than it usually would if it was properly sealed. And I quite like now, I'm noticing I was going to do this whole corner, but I quite like this light. I might change it later. Now I like this bit here. I'm just seeing where else I want to maybe darken the colour just slightly. And now I'm thinking there's actually a lot going on, so I'm going to calm this down a little bit by painting over with a bit more of a solid colour. I think I want to make more of this dark, to have a bit more of a solid dark, not solid, but just a darker shade down here. And they're all a little bit disconnected now, those areas, so I might combine some of them. I'm thinking maybe this with this, but I do really like the texture there, so I don't think I want to connect these bits. I could paint over that I left earlier. I think I will, and that will also get rid of this really strong blue mark from the acrylic marker that I got here. And then there's nothing really of that colour in the middle, so what I might do, just add a bit of a scribble without thinking too much, quite intuitively, and then just tone that down later on with some of the colour that's already there. So this obviously doesn't look great, but I will paint over that and just leave tiny bits. I actually might already remove some of it with, got this catalyst wedge, and that actually creates a really interesting texture because it moves the paint into the troughs. Might even get rid of all of this, and I want to add a little bit of that up here. And I'm thinking maybe this yellow wants to be a bit lighter, especially this part. Let's try it. Just going to make it a tiny, tiny touch lighter first. See if that makes a difference. And I'll have to let that dry to know if it actually worked. Now back to this one. You see what I mean by it looks quite chalky because of the white? It's okay, we'll fix that later, but I think I need to lighten it even more. Maybe even a lot of this here. I think I have to be a bit more drastic with my changes. So I'm smoothing some of it, but I am also leaving some of the more brush strokes. I'm now adding some marks without thinking really, just because it's not quite working and I don't want to overthink it. So I'm adding more intuitive marks here. There's a lot of different colour going on, so we'll want to unify that. Wondering whether now is the right time. I think I'm going to go over those bits, especially the blue bits with the yellow, and just see what happens. Again, with quite a transparent layer though. I do feel like I want to add much more yellow to this. Let's see what happens if I scratch into that with a palette knife. I'm just going to use this brush that I had with the dark paint from here. Add a bit more variation to the yellow. By the way, if you're just getting started with acrylics and feel overwhelmed by all the tools and materials out there, I made something for you. It's called the Beginner's Acrylic Painting Toolkit. It's totally free and includes the only supplies I recommend, plus a fun first painting exercise to help you get painting straight away. You'll find the link in the description. And then I want to add some this light pink that I've mixed before. And just blend that into the yellow. So now I think that the light is coming down here. I probably want to carry on some of this colour down here. And I do have this mauve kind of colour that was already in some of the places. That's actually quite similar to this. It's a little bit cooler, so we'll see if we need to warm it up a bit. Actually, I might use the brush that still has the yellow on it and mix that in with the mauve. And that will already make it a little bit more warmer. Now I think maybe I want more light here. I'll see if I can blend that bit more into the existing light area here. So the top is a bit cooler. I quite like that. Maybe I will add a bit more intentional blue. So it goes quite light, but maybe right at the edge I can add a bit more a darker blue. It looks very light now, but it will dry darker. So this yellow now sits right in the middle, and it kind of needs shifting to one side. I could also make all this more yellow, but that means there will be a lot of yellow. I mean, it's already a lot of yellow. And I do like the texture that's there, because this here is really light and it's quite distracting. I'll just add a bit of this colour here. And then now this is a bit more connected to this. So I think that's much more interesting than when I started. There's one more thing I want to try on this one, and that is to mix a few of these colours to make a more neutral colour and actually cover a lot of this top area. I think this dark shape doesn't really work there. So I'm just checking on a bunch of the colours I'm using here. The blue, the yellow, and then I want this to be a bit lighter, so I'm using this light pink to mix it all together. Now it's a bit green, so I'm going to add a touch of red. The red I'm using to mix these colours is a cadmium red deep. I'm just adding a touch of that. Neutralise this. That might have already been too much. A bit more of the blue. Yeah, still quite greenish. Never mind, let's go with it. Let's see what it looks like. I'm leaving some of the bits. I think I want this a bit more smooth, so I'm using my makeup brush here. That's got a little bit of the blue on, so that'll also add a bit of interest and variation in the colour. I'm going to scrape some of this back. I'm going to take the pink, the light pink, which is here, and try to blend this up into that. I'm taking it down into this blue, so there's a bit more of a transition. Also getting rid of this dark bit. It's distracting a bit. Yeah, I'm not keen on the colour up there. Maybe I will make it more of the pink colour. Actually, I think this also has some of the other colour in it. I think I'm going to have to paint over that again once it's dry. This isn't really working. It was worth a try, I do like that it's lighter up here now. Well, the colour's a bit funny. Adding a bit of blue, because this has already got kind of a blue hue. It's now a bit disconnected. I'm really just testing. I'm trying not to be scared that I'm going to ruin it, because I can always paint it back over it. I'm going to leave it there and then also look at it with together with the rest of my series in progress and see if they fit in, if there's maybe some other marks in the other paintings that would look better in here, or some colour combinations. That will give me an indication of how to proceed next. But I think for today, I'm happy with the progress. They're not there yet, but we will get there eventually. If you're in the messy middle right now, know that you're not alone, and it's just part of the process. Let me know in the comments how you deal with that doubt that shows up. And if you missed the last video where I revived these two paintings, I've linked it for you in the description box. Thanks and bye bye.